All right, Bitcoin sitting back up at $97,000. It actually has taken a little bit of a dip so far, but this is a really interesting place Bitcoin's at right now. I think the probability of breaking up is obviously quite high, so we're going to be diving into that and kind of where the actionable setups could be on this chart as well, because this is a super, super exciting market to be trading in as well. Obviously, a lot of this market has been quite dependent on Trump and the the tariffs and stuff like that. But it seems like that kind of hysteria has calmed down a little bit, which is absolutely fantastic because it's just a little bit silly. We are seeing the stock market pulling back a little bit, and I think that's why we're kind of seeing, but it's still very stable. So I think that's why we're seeing Bitcoin kind of able to hold this level right here. What I think is really interesting is the fact that typically, when Bitcoin would kind of trade around this range, if it's kind of coming up, you would expect it to kind of come back down to, basically the bottom, right? And that happens quite a lot on the reverse. If it's coming down, you expect it to come all the way back up, down, all the way back up, down, all the way back up, all the way back up, all the way back up, right? Every single time. And I think that that's important because that gives us, something to expect with this price range as far as, kind of what might happen now. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Bitcoin ended up falling down to this, interesting kind of diagonal trend line that you can kind of draw down here. And I don't think it's particularly significant at all, other than the fact that it is potentially a sort of parallel channel that we're forming here, which if it is, then that's very significant because, as we know, that's actually one of Bitcoin's kind of most common continuation patterns, okay? So whichever trend it's already in, which in this case is up, sometimes it'll just kind of slow down, but still move in the same direction, and then it'll kind of move up aggressively again. And I've got a couple of beautiful examples to show you, for kind of how that's happened in the past. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right here on this chart, where I don't have any drawings, and it's actually right here, okay? So Bitcoin, and it's not so perfect because of this wick, but Bitcoin was clearly trending down into this range, and then we just kind of slowed down a little bit, and then we picked up the pace again later on, okay? And this happens, as you've seen, from the downside. We could be doing it on the upside here, and here's a much more kind of classic example of what it looks like on the upside, okay? So again, just the exact same pattern here where Bitcoin moves up quickly, but it's so strong, or in the previous case that I showed you back here, it's so weak that it kind of just continues to do what it was already doing, just a little bit slower, meaning that the bears in this case did not have enough power to kind of trigger a more traditional, reversal, maybe down to, a support level and then back up. And then, you kind of continue going higher. So is that a possibility here? Yeah, I think it definitely is. I think that there's definitely a good chance that Bitcoin kind of does something like this at this stage. And really, we just have to watch this kind of bottom trend line for an invalidation. And it's very subjective. This is going to change a lot depending on how you draw it. So for me, I'm just going to basically say, look, anything kind of below, 95, anything below 94, very, very comfortably, I can say would be bad. Well, it wouldn't be bad, but it would certainly indicate some downside in the short term down to the kind of low 90s. As far as downside goes, it's the same picture. It remains completely unchanged. Finding a little bit of support down here is kind of our best bet for the market, and it keeps this entire range back in play, which is what we want. Being back in this range is a very depressed place. But on that note, I'm really not kind of too scared of the idea of Bitcoin kind of dropping down. I should first say before I continue that, the other great area of support for Bitcoin is going to be down here at about 88, but this is going to be more of a deviation, right? I'd still be kind of expecting, some sort of a kind of bounce up here, but maybe we get like a super quick kind of flash crash, and then, we fuck around and then we're back up, right? That's probably a highly likely kind of example of how, well, it's how stuff like this has played out in the past, right? Obviously, that's not an indication of how it's going to work in the future, but, that's typically how these things have looked before. Now, what I do want to say is, this low that Bitcoin set down here at about 74 is particularly interesting because if we draw a Fibonacci off it, we can get a nice golden pocket here. And the golden pocket obviously is going to be the 6.6 and 6.18 box. And what's particularly interesting about this level, also while we're here, let's just put down a horizontal line at a price level that we're already very familiar with, ladies and gents. We were talking about this level literally just about a minute ago. This $88,000, $89,000 price level lines up with the two most significant fib levels on the chart. Okay, so the first one is this golden pocket, and the second one is this 382 retracement. Both of them should be very, very strong zones of support typically, especially for Bitcoin. It's usually a case of you're going to bounce very well off one of them, and if you fail the first one, then you'll probably bounce off the next one, and if you fail that one too, then you're probably using this on a very short time frame, or it's a scam market. Yeah, that's kind of my interpretation of it. And you know, what we have here is, you know, quite an obvious kind of point of control, right? I mean, if we go ahead and kind of take a look at this range and, you know, try and see where most of this volume was exchanged, it's basically right where this golden pocket is. Obviously, just a smudge higher here. But for the most part, we're seeing a big kind of volume spike coming in here. So this level just makes complete sense to me as far as kind of telling me that Bitcoin could definitely kind of come down to this level to capture some pretty strong support. And just imagine, you know, the kind of smell in the room at that point, ladies and gents. I mean, you know, we'd have to drop down below 91 and 88 and get down into the mid 80s as well, all the while, you know, there's obviously going to be negative headlines about Trump and, you know, just shit going on. You know, everyone's going to be, you know, pissing their pants. So it's probably going to be, you know, quite an event if Bitcoin does end up kind of coming back down here. And it's just such a great support level, right? That, you know, I mean, you would kind of bid it. You would have to bid it if, you know, you're just one of those smart traders that, you know, isn't particularly emotional about it. It would be a, you know, kind of higher low. And we've set a very confident higher high anyway. So it's actually probably my favorite thing for the market to do right now. You know, I would probably say that if the market can pull this off, then I mean, you know, I'll be dragging my nano over to the bank to bid on Bitcoin on that. You know, I mean, that's going to be a pretty big deal. You know, to kind of buy a level like that. And it also gives us a pretty nice invalidation. You know, I mean, if Bitcoin does kind of end up getting, I'd say, kind of down to, you know, just below 81, that's probably going to be your sign that we're heading, you know, this time into the 60s. And probably not going to stop somewhere in the 70s. So I like that kind of invalidation that gives me, you know, just from the middle of this box, it's only about a 2%, 2.3% risk, which is a, you know, pretty cool kind of trading opportunity. But speaking of trading opportunities, ladies and gents, we've got a phenomenal link to OKX right here in the description. And this is a big deal because this is one of the most highly trusted exchanges in the game. They offer a Web3 wallet. They've got UAE off-ramp straight into your bank. They're also US compliant, which is pretty cool. And you can check them out. Now, the thing that's really cool about OKX is just the feature sets that they've got here. This is an exchange that, you know, we've looked at before over the years as well. Obviously, they've got every pair that, you know, you would want to trade, which is what you would expect. But, you know, if you try and actually really take a look at what this exchange is and, you know, their kind of supremacy in the game, they're a little bit of a sleeper for people like you and I, right? Like for people in Asia, you know, the Koreans and so on, they're actually a really big deal. But out here, you know, in the rest of the world, you know, it's just not that well known. And I think that makes it particularly impressive because they're ranked 5th in the crypto game. Okay, if we go ahead and take a look at the exchanges right here, you know, they are right here, just a little bit below. They're not too far away from Bybit. I mean, Bybit's looking at 2.7 billion, and OKX is 2.4. So definitely, you know, super well established, but also a very rich feature set. You've obviously got your staking, loans, standard stuff. I think most exchanges offer this kind of stuff so far, but they've got more that I think is particularly interesting. They've got, you know, an entire kind of institutional program, which is really important for people that, you know, do not like limitations of kind of more traditional exchanges that are, I don't know, just don't really have kind of a lot of the feature sets that we're used to, and some good mechanisms to buy and stuff like that. We'll talk about this stuff a little bit later on in future videos as well. Take a look at this. We got some trading bot tools as well, which I think is really interesting. And some people really enjoy copy trading, which is also going to be a very, very real possibility for you guys right here if you want to check that out. So as usual, always, if you're not from a restricted region, do not try and access these products if you're not allowed to. OKX obviously does have a US branch, so you can access the US side only, and you won't be allowed to access the non-US side anyway. Because of how strict everything is. But if that sounds good to you, then definitely check all that stuff out with the links in the description. We'll come back to this later on. What I want to continue on with you guys for now is just the idea that this would be a really, really nice kind of support level for Bitcoin to find itself at. And, you know, if that does end up happening, obviously there's going to be some kind of speculation for Bitcoin to keep moving up. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind, okay? If we start dropping down, we're not going to get scared about it. And then right here, back on the main chart, you know, I think it's just the fact that Bitcoin got this rejection and then, you know, a pretty shallow pullback, and now it's right back up in this range. It's particularly interesting. It definitely does not mean that, you know, we're kind of poised for a breakout, because this can still definitely turn into a pullback at this stage. But it is really interesting, and it is something to be paying attention to. Now, more than that, it's the Bitcoin's dominance, mate. We've been talking about this for years. If you've been watching this YouTube channel for a while, you're going to know that we've been talking about this for a very, very long time. This idea that Bitcoin's dominance could be going from 40%, I said 60, but then when we kind of got a little bit closer, I actually revised that target up to 70. And so far, we're just so far up from there, right? Basically, from kind of where things started to kick off. It's been about 900 days, and Bitcoin's dominance has gained 25 percentage points from about 40 to 65 here. So just an absolutely incredible run here for Bitcoin. It's really, potentially even speeding up again as far as kind of Bitcoin gaining dominance goes. And this is not something that takes us by surprise. We were expecting this. We were looking forward to this, because we knew that if Bitcoin's going down, you're probably going to see people de-risking and getting out of altcoins and therefore getting into Bitcoin. But equally, if Bitcoin goes up, you're probably going to see people getting out of altcoins and getting into Bitcoin, because if you've just been through such a shit market environment, why the hell would you want to take on more risk if Bitcoin's starting to move? And it's the fact that Bitcoin moves first without altcoins coming with it that creates this self-fulfilling spiral-like prophecy where the more it happens, right? And as we know, that's just kind of how money works in the world anyway. But I think that's really important, because, we're now at 65.3, which is just an unprecedented level for Bitcoin's dominance compared to what the dickheads in this space thought we could hit. But obviously that's not surprising. They're all fucking retards. But it's nice to know that we could say retard again in the in this modern day culture. We need to bring back all of these slurs. I really feel like everyone should get their turn. But we've got some nice resistance now up here at about kind of 71%, and I don't think that it's going to be, it's not that far away anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's definitely a big deal here. There's also Ethereum, which I think is, even more interesting than Bitcoin's dominance right now, because it's, Bitcoin's dominance is going up, and it's going up quite aggressively. And every time that happened, Ethereum against Bitcoin ended up taking a hit. And I mean, it happened again this time, but very mild. We're just kind of back to the bottom of this range. Ethereum is holding on really well. Now, if you put this in comparison to another coin like Solana, actually Solana's doing pretty well as well, so I'll bite my words on that one. Here's XRP. XRP is still doing well, but it's definitely been taking this hit. Let's see what else we've got here. Binance coin, taking a bit of a hit, but still holding its range. XRP kind of really tells this story, because it's now basically dropped down to the bottom, and it's got weak just wicks happening here. Not really a whole lot of kind of, I don't know, it doesn't scream confidence to me, right? Like the fact that previously we got quick wicks coming down, and now we're just kind of slowly dying. That's how charts lose levels. So we got to keep an eye on that. And then there are going to be tons more examples of this, just of coins doing absolutely horribly. I can't seem to find a good example yet, but clearly it's happening, because Bitcoin's dominance has gotten quite high. So look, I mean, this could change. I feel like we're kind of stepping back into, shaping up for a bit of a kind of capitulation event where altcoins could go through yet another kind of capitulation. And if you don't know what capitulation means, it's basically tons of examples of it on Ethereum. A capitulation event is just anything that's like a fucking big red candle. This would for sure be capitulation, right? We're going from 3,400 down to like 2,100. That's quite a big deal, and it happened, by the way, we're on the daily chart, so this happened within like literally just like 3-4 days, very, very short period of time. That would definitely be kind of capitulation. I think we're kind of stepping toward that again now. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think we're stepping toward that. However, given where we are in the market, given the fact that Bitcoin is so close to its all-time high, I don't think that if we get a capitulation event, I don't think that there's going to be any more. I think that would have to be the last one, because I would just imagine that it's going to get quite easy to, start bidding those coins. They're going to be at such low levels where it's kind of obvious that you can make a lot of money off them. And at the same time, Bitcoin's doing really well, right? Like I said, even if Bitcoin drops down to 84, it's still on a really good price level. So to me, that makes this, quite an interesting market to see these coins kind of start to, I don't know if they capitulate, then that's what happens. But I think that could kind of be the last one, because I just don't really see it, continuing to be. I think at this stage we're kind of, I don't want to say we're late into the bull market, but we're obviously, potentially halfway through, maybe more, maybe less, I don't know, but maybe somewhere around there is pretty reasonable. This is around about the time that I would expect altcoins to kind of start picking up, and now that we've got this dominance really moving up, I think we're kind of coming to the end. This will be most confirmed for me, most clearly, if we just see altcoin holders becoming really depressed and angry and emotional, because these people are Like I said, we're using the retard word right here. They're degenerates, okay? And degenerates will behave like degenerates. And if we start seeing that, they've dropped down to pretty good prices, but these people are just absolutely getting their panties twisted up, then that's going to be where you see me starting to click buy. So there you go, ladies and gents, a very fun quick little video. Check out the links in the description to these phenomenal exchanges, but definitely check out OKX as well if you are interested. I just want to show you again very, very quickly some of the cool stuff that they got here. Obviously they've got their kind of full proof of reserves as well. The Web3 wallet is a really big deal for OKX, and they've actually got one of the best Web3 wallets. So if you want to trade shit coins, meme coins, stuff like that, these guys have got something that will easily compete with, the likes of Phantom and Jupiter. I've used them all, and I think that they're all great, but the fact that OKX also is a centralized exchange makes it way better than Jupiter or Phantom, in my opinion, because I don't need like 2 or 3 apps when I can just use one. And obviously functionality is obviously quite straightforward. It's just a Web3 wallet, but they've made it incredibly well with a great UI, and you can do all of your degenerated gambling shitcoin trading that you want. Obviously don't gamble. I'm like extremely strongly opposed to gambling. I do not like it. I have strong opinions against this, but people will do what they want to do, and my point is that this platform makes whatever you want to do, hopefully the very safe, sensible stuff. It makes it easy and convenient to do that. So there's a lot here to unpack. This is not the last time I'm going to be talking about them, but I definitely did want to bring this to your attention just for now, so that you can kind of get a sense for kind of what's going on here on OKX. Obviously, like I said, ranked 5th in the world, and actually quite high as far as volume goes. It's 3rd as far as volume goes, I think. Actually, MEXC is here, but I don't trust anything that comes out of MEXC, so I don't know if these numbers are legit. But obviously, very, very strong volume, and they've been around for a while. I think it's just the fact that they've been so strong in the Asian markets that people like you and I perhaps haven't heard of them. Obviously, there are going to be some Asians watching as well, but for the most part, I think those people kind of stay in their community speaking their languages, stuff like that, and that's why perhaps it's not as popular. But to me, mate, if you've been around in the world of money, especially in crypto, if a Korean is using something, mate, if a Japanese man is using something, but especially a Korean, I want to be doing the same thing. I want to drink the whiskey they're drinking. You know what I mean? Like, anything a Korean does is probably a good thing when it comes to trading. Obviously, some of them are a little bit crazy, but a lot of them are pretty fucking good. So to me, that's a big vote of confidence. But there you go, ladies and gents. Hope you've enjoyed this one. You know what to do. Smash up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff. Only check out these exchanges if you're not from a restricted region. Do not use them if you're from restricted regions. Check out the like button, subscribe button, tick the bell, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all in the next one.